Hey, it's Adele from Let's Get Inky, and today we have the final process video in my Dina Wakley Media Art Journal. I'm so excited. It went on a bit of a adventure, this page though. I was so lost as to what to actually do on this page because I'm not used to working on single sided pages. If you watch my channel and you've seen my previous art journaling videos, you know that I usually work on a double page spread. Actually, always work on a double page spread. So here I was a little lost and I decided to trace my hand and do a bit of journaling on this page, and I'm trying to figure out the color order that I'm going to do. I'm using some Dylusions paints and trying to avoid using lime green, A, because I don't own it, and B, it's not my favorite color. So I'm starting off and I'm running very, very low on I think it's cherry pie, bubblegum pink, and rose quartz, possibly. No, it's not rose quartz, it's another one. But I wanted to make those pinky colors be the smallest sections because the paints are a bit cluggy and they're running out. So I'd rather use my fresher, smoother paints on the large sections. So I'm just using a random paintbrush from my stash and painting that down. Probably would have been better to use a smaller paintbrush to do in between the fingers and use this larger paintbrush for the large sections, but I was lazy and I made it work. It worked out. I did shave a little bit off one of my fingers, but we got there in the end. So this process video took a bit of a sidestep, and you'll notice from probably the thumbnail of this video that it does actually turn out to be a double page video, and you'll see my oops in a moment. So I'm just going through and there's my big noggin in the way. My head's getting into frame there. An important thing if you are new to art journaling, baking paper or waxed paper or parchment paper, whatever you may call it in your country, is a fantastic resource to slip under the page in your art journal so that you don't get paint on the previous page. I just reuse the same pieces over and over again until they're crusty and flaking everywhere, which this one was after this video, I'm pretty sure. And it's really handy because I have been very guilty of adding a bit of extra color to previous pages that I didn't want there in the first place. So now moving on to the other side, and I've decided that we're skipping just straight yellow to blue in my rainbow, and that's okay with me. The thing with art journaling, I think a lot of people get nervous when they start because they feel like it has to look a certain way. It really, really, really doesn't. There's no rules to art journaling as long as you're enjoying it and you're using some bits and pieces. You could use just paint, you could just draw, you could just stick things in like a collage book, glue book kind of style. It doesn't really matter. So look, there it is. There is my mistake. And I thought by picking it up with my paintbrush that it was going to just magically disappear. No. So in the end, I just go with it and I'm just painting that whole page in blue. Lucky it was color that I liked, and in the end I really like it, but wasn't my goal at the start. And now I'm at that spot where I'm wondering, do I need to paint the front inside cover as well? I'm going to go with no, because I'm just done with this journal. I need to move on. I'm sick of it. I need to move on. And then I was like, oh, well, do I need to change the blue from this side? But I decided to keep it blue as well. And I do some writing over the top of it. So in the end, it's not so blue. It's still blue, but it's not as blue, if that makes any sense at all. But like I was saying, with art journaling, there's no rules, and I think that it's very handy when you start art journaling to do to have a smaller journal, even if you just grab some watercolor paper, mixed media paper, thicker cardstock, probably not like text weight, like a printer paper, like an 80 GSM, probably something a bit heavy. Even if you just grab 10 pages, fold them in half, staple them, and have that as your experiment art journal and just have a play around in it. I am going to be working on an art journaling or mixed media for beginners kind of class, an online class. So I should be working on that now. I'm recording this video back in August, and this video should be coming out either end of November or early December if I'm scheduling correctly. I'm trying to get ahead on some videos so that I can use some of my work days, quotation marks there, basically Archie free days and weekends, because I work all weekends. I'm hopefully going to use some of my time to record some new online classes for the end of the year and for the new year. So keep your eyes peeled for that information. If you haven't also joined the best way to get updated on things is to follow me on Instagram or Facebook, Inky Quill on both those places. And I have a Facebook group called Scrapaholics Anonymous. Be careful, someone has started a group as well after I have, called Scrapaholics Anonymous. Make sure you pick the right one. Currently, when I'm recording this, we've got 16,000 members. So make sure that you pick the correct group to be in. But I will put announcements up there of any classes that come out, but I'm really excited to film a mixed media one. It's one that I've been cooking up in my brain since I was pregnant so long ago with Archie, and I'm really excited to be able to start recording that. If there's anything that you'd really like in a mixed media class, let me know in the comments and I'll check that I've got it in there, because I've got it outlined, but it'd be good to know what you guys would like as well. So I'm just we went on a bit of a tangent there. I'm back on track. I'm using a black Posca paint pen, and I've seemed to have lost my thick one. I've been on a couple of retreats lately, and I don't know if I've left it somewhere or it's buried in a bag. It's rolled out somewhere, but I was using a thinner one and I didn't like how thin it was. So I'm going through and I'm thickening up every line, which is very frustrating, but you got to do what you got to do. I love my Posca paint pens. I think they work really well. Not sponsored at all. They're freaking expensive here in Australia. I pay about $9 per paint pen, and so when you lose one, it's quite heart-shattering that you need to go buy another one. I think I may need to do actually next week a little trip to my local art shop because I'm almost out of matte gel medium, and you guys know I like to slap that stuff all over my art journal, so I desperately need some more. So now I'm grabbing a whole range of paint pens and I'm going to do some very messy, non-readable journaling on these little rainbow rays, I guess you could call them, and I'm trying to pick colors that I think contrast well with the background. I've done very messy journaling. I don't want to read it again. I don't expect to read it again, and it was just all about the things that I'm grateful for at the moment. So I really like the look of that. It's something a bit different for me, and it was really, really fun to do. So here I'm using a white Sharpie paint pen. They're my favorite white paint pens. And I found this quote that said, "Better an oops than a what if." And I just thought that was just so appropriate for this page because it was a big oops. And it also kind of sums up this journal because as I've said in the previous art journaling videos using this Dina Wakley Media Journal, I really, really struggled with the paper in it. I struggled with the burlap and the canvas paper because they were quite textured. I struggled with the craft because I'm used to a white background, and I struggled with the white paper because it was very lumpy. So I struggled with every piece of paper in it, and so I am glad that I kept on going with it and I didn't quit after doing the first couple of pages. And so there are a lot of oopses in this art journal, but I am glad that it didn't just sit on my shelf as a what if type project. So this is my challenge for you peeps. If you've got an art journal or something, or a mini album or something that you've started but you haven't finished because it was either too challenging or you didn't like it, or you just weren't in the right headspace to work on that type of project at that time, dig it out and see if by the end of the year you don't have to finish it by the end of the year, but see if you can just work a little bit more on it by the end of the year. That's my challenge for you. It's worth it in the end. Here I accidentally splattered everywhere, which I always do with my Uniball chalk textures that I just like to swish flack everywhere. That's not a technical term. If you are not English speaking, please don't put that into translator because you won't come out with a definition. I like to just swish it everywhere and it just goes splat everywhere. And I got it on my writing, but I managed to wipe it off and then kind of just color over the top of it. But it's done. She's all finished. So my next art journaling video should be a journal flip through over here on YouTube. As always, I'll do a chatty version and a quick one with music to it. But please give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed watching my art journaling vids, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.